So this is the third season here in the channel, and it's the season in which we're talking about growing up, building yourself up, how to mature in life, so to say. And this is the fifth episode, if I'm not wrong. And in this episode, I would like to talk about something that it's extremely important in our society, and it's extremely relevant for the current times we're living. And in my opinion, you should master it as soon as possible, because the sooner you master it, the better it will be, the outcome of your life, and you are going to avoid the problems that can potentially compromise your life permanently. And this topic is money, how to handle it, how to manage it, how to work with it. And I would like to start the video bringing a passage from Hamlet in Shakespeare, from Shakespeare, when Shakespeare makes Polonius say, if I'm not wrong, it's in the first act or something like this. Neither a borrower nor a lender be, or nor a borrower neither a lender be, or something like this. That is, not borrow and not lend. You don't borrow, you don't lend. And there is a specific context in which Shakespeare is saying that, but we are going to try to bring it to our times, which are not so different from what he's presenting somehow. But let's talk in current times. Let's bring that to the times we're living in. Why you don't ever want to borrow money from anyone, and you don't ever want to lend money. For a very simple reason. Let's start with lending. When you lend money to someone, the chances that this person is going to be able to pay you are very small. When someone asks you for money, the situation in which this person finds himself or herself is extremely delicate. That's why the person is asking you for money. And there are very few examples, at least in my experience, people that I know, people that I have met, that someone who is really in need of money and asks for money is going to be able to pay afterwards. And for two reasons. First reason, because it's very difficult that the person is going to leave the situation in which the person is living now and remount to a better situation in which the person is going to pay you. Second, in case that happens, in case the person manages to leave the hole in which she has put herself into, the person will most likely never pay you for whatever reason. I don't feel like doing it, it's been a long time, I thought I could trust on you and you were helping me, and blah blah blah, and they will invent thousands of excuses. If you know someone who has ever borrowed money from someone and has paid, I can tell you this is in general the exception. This is not the rule. That's not what happens. And I'm telling you for my own experience. I have lent money to over 10 people that I know, including family, close friends, and so on. And I never got the money back, ever. And I'm the kind of person that I'm not going to push you. I'm not going to be offensive. I'm not going to be calling you all the time and so on. I might remind you once or twice, because I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable, even though you owe me money. But I'm not going to push you. I'm not going to be pressuring people and telling them you have to. The person knows. The person knows very well. You are not going to forget when you borrow from someone a decent amount of money. And you are going to end up losing the friendship or the closeness with the family member and so on, and it's going to be a horrible situation. And I've seen cases in which you had family members going to lawyers, and it was a mess. So you don't want to do it. But let's go to the other example now, which is even worse in my opinion. You don't want to borrow money from anyone. And then you tell me, but what if I have the chance to start a business and I just need that, whatever, 10G, 50G, 100 or whatever, and this is going to solve my life? Should I miss the opportunity of taking this risk and maybe making a great enterprise, a great investment, and then it's going to be so easy for me to pay the person? My answer to you is going to be a conservative one, and maybe you're not going to like it. yes, you shouldn't borrow that money. And I'm going to tell you why. In case things go well for you, you are going to be able to pay the person and everything is going to be set. No problem. In case things don't go well for you, and there are chances that they won't go well for you, normally good chances, above all in the society that we live in, if they don't go well for you and you do not have the means to pay the person, or if you lose with your investment, or if things go bad for you, you will have bought for yourself a nightmare for the rest of your life. I've been through that. I've seen people going through that. And what happens is the people who have lent you money will become nasty. You will not recognize them. They will change completely. It doesn't matter if you are honest. It doesn't matter if you are doing all the efforts to pay. It doesn't matter if you are really like doing whatever you can and you are really being honest when you say, I don't have the money, but as soon as I have it, I'm going to pay you. People will offend you, call you names, they will badmouth you, they will try to compromise you with people that might be important for you in your personal life, in your job, which is super important, that can compromise your career, and so on. They will threaten you, they will say bad names to you, they will offend you, they will become very, very, very nasty. And this is going to become a nightmare for you. This is going to become a burden that you're going to have to carry throughout your life. Imagine that you compromised to pay within 6 months, within a year, and you can't because of whatever reason. Thousands of problems have happened and you couldn't. And you are an honest person, you're a decent person, you really want to pay and you are being honest. I really don't have it. The person won't believe you. The person will think you are trying to scam him, that you're trying to cheat on it, that fool the person, and so on. And in 90% of the cases, or even more, because of course there are exceptions for everything, but in the vast majority of the cases, this person will become a nightmare for you. And if, as I said, if you are a decent person, an honest person, you are not going to be able to sleep with that. You are not going to be able to have peace of mind with that. You're going to put your head in the pillow in the evening to sleep, and it's going to get heavy. And you are going to think of that night and day, and that will eat your soul, and it will consume your energy, and it's going to make you age faster, and it's going to be damaging for your health, your mental health, but the rest of your body health, your bodily health, your physical health, not only your mental health. And it's going to be a damn nightmare in your life. So you don't want to do that. And then you tell me, should I be conservative then? And if I do not manage to save a little bit of money to make my investment, avoid making it? I think so. You know why? Because 20 years later, 30 years later, you might look back and say, damn, I didn't do that business. I didn't go for that investment and I should have risked. And look at me now, living an average life, making a normal amount of money, or maybe even a decent amount of money, but not as much as I could have done, and so on. But honestly, when you think of that, you will be like, yeah, I should have gone for it, and so on. But my life went on, and my life goes on, and my life will keep going on, and things are fine for me. They're going well. But if you got that money, and if you didn't manage to pay, and if it took you a long time to pay, longer than what you have agreed with the person, longer than what you potentially had promised the person, this is going to eat your soul. And it's going to make you suffer internally. It's going to damage you internally in a way that you are not going to be able to solve, because you're not going to be able to go back in the past and undo that decision and undo that past that you have already done. And you are going to feel awful about it. And you are not going to forgive yourself for that. And you are not going to live in peace with it. Even after you've paid the person, even after you managed to pay the person every single cent that you owed, you are not going to live well with that. You are going to suffer, and it's going to be already your soul, your inner self, your essence will be already poisoned, because you will have suffered 1, 2, 3, who knows how many years it took you to pay back that money that you have to pay. It's the correct thing to do. There is no discussion about it. You have to do it. You borrowed, you have to pay. You didn't manage to pay on the time that you had agreed, it's your fault. It doesn't matter if the world is unfair, if things didn't work well, and so on. The other person is not guilty of that. It's not good, it's not nice, it's not understanding if the person behaves nasty, as the person will. But you wanted the money. You went after it because you were desperate, because you were in a situation, basically, who knows, maybe you were on the edge of becoming homeless or starve or anything like that. But the tranquility of mind, the serenity, the peace, the internal peace that you will have for never having gone through that will be much better than going through it and regretting for the rest of your life. The pain in your consciousness, the bitterness in your soul for having done it, for having asked for the money, and having gone through the whole entire hell that you went through in order to be able to pay that money, and everything that you suffered with that person, the things that that person made you feel, the things that that person said, the way that person bad-mouthed you and even exaggerated and lied about you, will eat you alive. And they can be very damaging and compromising for the rest of your life. So when it comes to money, save. Avoid spending in silly things that you don't need, like consuming drugs, be them legal or illegal, expensive fancy clothes that you don't need, going to very expensive clubs or bars or whatever, and spending money that you don't need. I'm not telling you to not live, but spend wisely. Have your fun, have a good time, but wisely. Save like that, and in the future, if you have the possibility, invest with that. And thank me later. See you in the next episode.